I made some puns and they got on the internet, and now there are a lot of people that are mad at me.
The story of Tuesday and Billy Kane, this week on Upvoted by Reddit. Welcome to episode 9 of Upvoted by Reddit. I'm your host, Alexis Omania. Last week, we brought you the stories of James Harrison and Zachary Meyer, and how their blood and bone marrow donations have made an impact on the lives around them. There's been a really great discussion about making donations in the Upvoted subreddit. That's upvoted.reddit.com. And I was happy to see so many people sharing their own personal experiences with making a donation. Now, for that episode, I went down to LA Children's Hospital and donated a pint of blood because I figured it was only fair, since I was asking all of you to make a donation, that I do it myself. You can find the proof on the brand new Reddit Instagram account. It's just Reddit on Instagram, just like it is on Twitter and on Facebook. I hope you'll join me in making a donation. Please take a selfie while you're doing it and share that photo with us, either on Twitter or even on Instagram, or maybe in the comment thread from last week's episode of Upvoted. We will choose our favorite and you will get a Pebble Watch, and you will help someone. Perhaps your donation will inspire others to follow suit as well. Now, this week's story is different. A lot more controversial from last week's story, but no less important in making a difference for our world. We're going to be dealing with what is quite possibly the touchiest subject out there. That's right, abortion. It's one of the most complicated, emotional issues in U.S. politics today, which is why the debate rages on more than 40 years after the Supreme Court ruled in favor of a woman's right to choose. There's virtually no middle ground, and people rarely, if ever, change their minds once they've come to a decision about whether or not they think it should be legal. Now, we first heard of the Canes on the 2X chromosome subreddit, but they appeared on XOJane, Jezebel, Salon, The Guardian, and countless blogs. And that's actually what this week's story is about. A daughter, her father, and the pun that got the world's attention, for better or for worse. That's what's coming up after a word from our sponsors. This show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is the world's leading provider of audiobooks with over 150,000 titles to choose from. They have everything, from my book Without the Permission, all the way to Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov, which I actually know, for a fact, is a much better book than mine. Though Audible isn't just the best selection of audiobooks in the world, it's also a great company. And if you don't believe me, take it from a user on r/audiobooks. This Redditor said, and I quote, "Audible doesn't get credit for how painless and easy their return system is. It's really quick, and I've had funds reappear in my account in a day. Audible also gives away free books from time to time if you spend over a certain amount, follow them on Twitter, etc., which is very nice." So what are you waiting for? You can get one free audiobook just by going to audible.com/upvoted. That's right, a free audiobook, and you'll get a 30-day free trial at audible.com/upvoted.
My name is Tuesday Kane, and I'm the girl that wrote the "Jesus is in the dick, so keep him out of my vagina" sign.
Meet Tuesday. She was 14 when, while demonstrating at the Texas State Capitol in 2013, her sign went viral.
When I first wrote this, I had absolutely no idea that it was going to spark such controversy.
And here's her dad.
My name is Billy Kane, and I'm Tuesday Kane's father.
Let's get to know the Canes a little better. Billy works in the video game industry. His official title is
Business Development Director at Meta 3D Studios.
They live in Austin, Texas, with Tuesday's little brother and mom, both of whom were present for everything that happened, but as Billy puts it, they prefer to stay out of the spotlight. Now, Austin isn't like most of Texas for two reasons. First, it's a very liberal college town known for its music scene. And second, it happens to be the state capital, which means there are lots of opportunities for political debate. And one last thing you should know about the Canes is that, like more and more families, they're pretty darn tech-savvy.
You know, we are a very modern family. We live on the internet, and it shows.
You might remember that during the summer of 2013, Texas State Senator Wendy Davis was making headlines across the country and on the front pages of Reddit for her 11-hour filibuster of Texas Senate Bill 5, or as it was known, SB 5.
Lawmakers in Austin are expected to vote tomorrow on some of the toughest restrictions on abortion in the country. Earlier today, House Republicans passed a bill tightening restrictions on abortion doctors and clinics.
SB 5 would ban abortions after the 20th week of pregnancy and also effectively shut down most abortion clinics in Texas because it would limit abortions to surgical centers instead.
Davis decided to take a stand, literally, because in Texas, when senators filibuster, they aren't allowed to eat, drink, sit down, or stop talking. In order to prevent the bill from passing, she had to take the floor from 11 in the morning until midnight when the special session closed. Just a couple of hours before midnight, Davis's filibuster was ruled invalid. The crowd erupted into pandemonium, chanting, "Let her speak," over and over again. Amidst the chaos, legislators on both sides of the aisle tried to regain control, and the whole time the clock kept ticking down to midnight.
I went and got Tuesday up. It was the middle of the night. Like, you've got to come see this. This history happening right now.
It was some ungodly hour. I walked across the hallway upstairs, and my dad was dragging me pretty much by the wrist to show me a live stream of the Capitol building, where there were all of these people all in one giant room, and they were all screaming and shouting and making so much noise you couldn't tell one voice from another at all.
And it was as visceral a feeling as I've ever had.
And my dad was kind of explaining, saying, all they're trying to do is make the clock run out. If they can just be loud enough for long enough, they can make the clock run out.
At the last minute, another senator, Leticia Van de Putte, delivered what became a historic line.
Mr. President, parliamentary inquiry.
State inquiry.
At what point must a female senator raise her hand or her voice to be recognized over the male colleagues in the room?
So we're watching the end of this. The timer is ticking down, and when Leticia said her lines, the entire building erupted. I mean, you could hear the people chanting and yelling and screaming and just in total support of what she said, and the noise of that was just absolutely incredible.
We sat there and we cheered and we cheered and we cheered, and there was everyone in the actual room on the live stream. They were cheering and they were excited, and you see people high-fiving each other and jumping up and down. And my dad said, "That's happening again tomorrow at the Capitol. Are you interested in it? Do you want to go?" Yes, of course I want to go. Yes.
It seemed to everyone watching that the bill had failed to pass in time. But the next day, then Governor of Texas Rick Perry announced there would be another, second special session convening a week later.
Although I followed politics, there has never been a point in time where I felt like I needed to go somewhere and make my voice heard as strongly as what was happening in Texas. We knew that we were pro-choice, pro-women's health, and so we headed down there because we really wanted to show support for the cause, and we live really close to the Capitol. There's really no excuse for us to not get involved in something that is so important for women, for women's health, and someone had to be there for the people that couldn't make it.
So, as a family, the Canes packed up and joined the demonstration. To show their affiliation, pro-choice supporters donned orange, while the pro-life advocates wore blue. At first, Tuesday was surprised by the number of blue shirts surrounding the Capitol.
And it took me a minute, and then I realized there were a ton. Oh my gosh. There were so many people coming, and they were all wearing orange shirts. And we were sitting, and we had all of our stuff set up in the grass, in the shade. And, it was so hot outside. Oh my gosh. People were talking. They had a mic, and there were huge speakers. And they were talking about issues that they'd been having, about their stories, about just things that had happened to them, how they were relating to this issue.
The rallies continued, and the Canes kept coming back whenever they could. After 4 days, Tuesday decided to write a placard of her own.
We were sitting inside of the Capitol building on the granite on the floor because it was hot again, because we live in Texas and it's hot all the time. And I had brought a bunch of poster board and a bunch of different colors of markers.
She didn't give the wording much thought, except that she was frustrated by the pro-life camp's focus on Christian ideology.
They were trying to make their political views valid by hiding behind their religion, and I was getting extremely fed up with it.
it was really born out of the thought, realization, concept that religion isn't supposed to be in our politics. And if you do believe in Jesus, he's really a nice guy. So using his name and his ideas to promote this bill that is not pro-women was wrong.
I thought to myself, I am a little girl in an orange shirt with my hair pulled back. I'm warm, it's too hot, I'm sweaty. I have some like kids markers and some bright poster board. I'm gonna write something because I'm rather upset about something, and I didn't think anyone would even turn their head. I just thought, oh, I'm just another sign, like no big deal. But it felt really nice to hold up the sign, and then I noticed people were taking pictures of me, and they were laughing when I walked into the room, and people were coming up and giving me hugs, and I was really surprised by this, just this attention from the people around me, and I thought, not really much of it. I just thought, oh, well, I have a nice sign, people like it.
It was actually while a friend of hers was holding the sign that it first went viral.
Tuesday had asked me if it was okay to write that on the sign, and I said, absolutely, you can write that. That's your thoughts. You can go out there. Obviously, if everybody else can protest with their words, you can protest with yours. So we went out into the rotunda, and it was unbelievably loud. The sound is echoing like crazy. The place you can feel the granite moving, which apparently wasn't shaking as much as it did the night that Letitia had said her line, but it was shaking nonetheless. So Tuesday and I and her friend were all holding signs, and people were just taking pictures of signs all over the place. It didn't matter whether you were wearing an orange shirt or blue shirt, everybody's taking pictures of signs. And they were posting them on social media. So we kind of gotten tired of being around all that amazingly loud noise and wanted to talk to each other and kind of just debrief. So we went down one of the wings, sat down, and I started back looking at all Twitter feeds and digging around on the internet. And sure enough, Tuesday's sign hit, and it had her friend's picture on there.
And the things people were writing, they weren't exactly nice.
And then those things got posted onto a bunch of conservative sites, a bunch of conservative blogs, and it was just getting ugly.
Tuesday's friend, understandably, got pretty freaked out.
She did not want to be associated with the sign because she felt that it would affect her as she got older. She thought that schools would not accept her, it'd be harder to get a job. And it was, because she was associated with this sign, if they thought it was her sign.
So the Canes did something extraordinary. Instead of hiding from the sudden onslaught of tweets, comments, and shares, they took credit for the sign.
So that was one of the reasons we decided to say, hey, that's actually this girl's sign, and if you want to call her a whore, don't bully children on the internet, but if you want to call her a whore, she will be defended by someone who can defend her, 24/7.
Tuesday's referring, of course, to her dad.
I've been on the internet for a long time. I've run community management. I know what this stuff is all about. So I'm just going to get on and not give anyone the satisfaction of trying to track me down and track her down and do any of that. So I was like, I'm just going to come at this with full transparency. So on every site that I found the picture posted, I posted my name, posted my email address, and asked anybody that had any questions to go ahead and contact me.
Billy's original intention was to shield Tuesday from all the negative attention her son was gathering. But as these things tend to do, the situation rapidly spiraled out of control.
And I was trending on Twitter for a while, and I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified. But I saw it from both sides, from people that supported me and didn't. Had no idea that a few puns would anger so many people. I've never seen so many people angry at wordplay in my entire life.
Yet, what happens after that awkward moment when your name becomes a hashtag, and how do you deal with death threats gracefully?
One of the tweets
That awkward moment when your name becomes a hashtag, and how do you deal with death threats gracefully?
One of the tweets that we got in response to my sign was, really, somebody smack this bitch now. Period, 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 in between every single word. So I guess it would be, really, period, somebody, period, smack this bitch, period, now, all caps, period. Another person called me vile pawn scum.
I bet you all screw each other. Hashtag incest family.
How about this? Maybe if you had kept dicks out of your vagina, you wouldn't need an abortion.
My goodness. Oh, here's one. They're starting that little slut off right, aren't they? If she keeps all dicks out of her vagina, the point would be moot for her. How about these sluts keeping their legs closed and their pants up? Then there would be no controversy about abortions and birth control. Oh, this would be the last one. Who lets, with an apostrophe S, a 14-year-old engage in sexual topics? Question mark. Unless she is an adult, she has no say. My response to that, since 14-year-old women can have a baby, it would be child abuse if they didn't learn about sex. Education is the answer.
It went on like this for days.
He was staying up late and waking up early, and the entire day he would have either his phone or his computer, and he would be just typing and typing and typing and typing, saying things like, hey, why do you think my daughter's a whore? Totally email me. Just then pop on in and say hi and then explain why my little baby is a whore. Please and thank you.
You can actually read all these exchanges on a Tumblr called Public Shaming, which assembled dozens of the vitriolic social media posts directed at the Canes, as well as Billy's remarkably measured responses, which, in many cases, only further infuriated their detractors.
I had been running customer service and community support and community management for a Facebook game about 24 hours a day, so I had to deal with a lot of trolls in my regular job. And so I've had a lot of experience with that. The mindset that I have finally come to that has been the most successful so far has been treating exchanges as factually as possible and as unemotional as possible. The problem with trolls is that they want to try to get your goat. I mean, it really excites them that they made an effect on you one way or the other. So when people would say things like that, I mean that. I'm like, why would you call my daughter a whore? I really don't understand what it would be about this sign that would make you think that my daughter was a whore.
Amazingly, for the most part, the Canes didn't really let it get to them.
When the kids would come home, or they got home from their friends' houses, I'd show them kind of the hit parade of the best quotes of all, and then we'd sit around and laugh about it and stuff. And then of course, when new ones would come in, we'd sit around, and Tuesday was always saying, "Can't we just correct their grammar and spelling?" And I'm like, no, that's rude. We need to, we need to talk about the actual issue and bring up the educational aspects of it. But she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm not a looser. I'm not a looser." And I was just like, "Yeah, dude, it's bad out there."
People were trying to say mean things in Comic Sans, and I couldn't. I'm sorry. I just if some ghost, if ghosts are real, and they in blood, like in some horror movie, they wrote leave this place, but it was in Comic Sans. Everyone would just kind of laugh and then wipe up all the blood and continue their life. Sorry, I can't take you seriously if you're writing in Joker Man or Comic Sans or. Freaking, if you're writing in green crayon, I'm sorry, it's all the same. It's all the same.
Because, ultimately, Billy saw this as even more than just about defending his daughter.
When I saw the sign going viral, I knew what was about to happen. I knew that this was totally fueled by religion. I knew that people are incredibly frustrated because they don't feel like their voices are being heard on either side. And I knew that it was just going to be fire versus water, basically, this entire thing. So my take on the fact that this thing had gone viral was we have an opportunity to tell people that there is an option and there is another opinion that's out there. When you're in a small town, you may have just a few churches, and you may be stuck in a family that has one particular view. We were trying to provide people information so they could become educated about the issue, whether it was about the law, whether it was about women's health, whether it was about abortion, whether it was about sex education. People just need to get educated. And my family has always looked at education as the answer for almost every problem that we have. This particular thing did not seem to be focused on education. It seemed to be focused on making women feel guilty. And I felt like if you were going to do that, the entire point isn't to argue with those people. It isn't to try to change their minds. The point is to try to bring up the things that's actually happening in Texas and in the world. This sign is not all about my daughter by any stretch. It's about the women that are in Texas that are having their rights taken away.
At some point, though, the hate speech took an especially violent turn.
When we got our first death threat, I had already known it was going to come. It was just a matter of time.
Billy had to take these threats seriously. Sadly, there's a history of violence associated with the pro-life movement, especially in the U.S. Dozens of people have been injured and 8 have actually died, the most recent in 2009, due to shootings, bombings, and assaults that have been carried out in the name of the anti-abortion rhetoric. Obviously, the perpetrators of these crimes are not representative of the whole movement, but they're out there. It happens.
What I did is I went to my wife and I said, look, this happened. I know that you and I, would die for our beliefs. Are we willing to die over this belief? And so she and I said, yeah, we are. And so we went to the kids and we said, look, this has obviously sparked some concern. I'm worried because this is Texas and people do get lynched and they do get murdered for their opinions. And I said, guys, is this something that is this the hill that we want to die on, quite literally? And both the kids and my wife and myself, we just agreed, if somebody is not standing up for these women, then all is lost. So we decided that we were going to do it. And if it turned out that was going to be our legacy, so be it.
They actually decided, together as a family, to potentially risk their lives in order to keep bringing attention to the issue. Honestly, I'm still blown away by that. The first time I heard Billy say it, I got chills. I don't know what, if anything, I would risk my life for. I'm clearly not a very brave person, not to mention my family's lives. To you, fortunately, not all of the responses were so negative.
Although we caught tons of flack for this thing online, and I mean, it's all over the place as you can find. We actually got probably, I'd say 50 to 100 times more support than we found detractors.
Oh my gosh. I did not make my Facebook private before I did this because I didn't realize this was going to actually be anything more than a couple of words on a piece of paper. But I got hundreds of people coming to me on my Facebook, just private messaging me saying things like, you're amazing, like you are my hero. I'm a little kid, like with a sign, I can't be your hero. I got so many people coming to me with positive little notes and telling me stories and opening up to me. And I feel like, to some extent, I must have helped them if they felt so strongly towards me and were just being so nice to me and saying such nice things and telling me, I hope my kid grows up to be like you. I hope that they become politically involved.
In fact, a year and a half later, Tuesday's still responding to all the kind and supportive messages she received.
I've personally messaged so many people that I still have not gotten down to the bottom. So whoever the first person was that messaged me, I am so sorry that I haven't responded yet. I'm so sorry, I'm getting there. I'm really trying, I'm still going through them. So I still have 300 to go, which is way less than it was. But those were just people that reached out to me on my Facebook, which was not something my dad wasn't, saying, I'm going to reach Tuesday on Facebook. He was saying things like, come talk to me. All I know is that there were people that were contacting me from Europe, were using Google Translate to try to talk to me, and it was adorable and disjointed, and I loved it. It was amazing. People were trying so hard to talk to me. It was really, it was really heartwarming and endearing.
Online, a lot of people seem to think Tuesday was ruining her life by taking credit for this. They said she wouldn't get into college or that she had a hard time finding a job. In reality, it hasn't been that big of a deal. When she went back to school that fall, nobody seemed to even know about her for the sign except for a few teachers who gave her high fives and thanked her.
I am this little smart-ass little kid that just makes terrible comments about everything, and I'm that one kid in class where the teacher will say something and then I'll kind of whisper something to someone else and then get in trouble. I'm that kid. It's nothing more than that. I'm not a genius or some political prodigy or whatever. I don't know. I'm just that one person that just makes unnecessary comments and then gets called out for it. That's just what this is on a very, very large scale.
So, does she ever regret making the sign?
I do not regret making the sign that I did. I felt that a lot of people looked at it and they contemplated it, and people from all different sides got to look at it and interpreted it their own way, and that's exactly what I wanted. I didn't expect it to be on a giant, crazy scale. I guess I just expected it to be a couple of people in a room, but I've never once regretted making this sign.
If anything, Tuesday's ordeal only further galvanized her. She and her dad still go to pro-choice demonstrations together, and like Billy, she believes in the profound power of education. She even wants to be a science teacher.
When I get older, I would love to work with kids or other people because I like to watch people learn. And I love teaching people. And I love the sound of epiphanies, like when kids or, people finally get something and they just make that little, oh, that noise. Oh, I love that noise. That's my favorite noise.
Billy doesn't regret anything either. In retrospect, he approaches the whole experience as an educational opportunity, not just for others, but also himself.
You've looked at the phenomena of an echo chamber where everybody that's in a particular discussion all says the same thing, and they're like, yeah, that's really stupid, yeah, it's super dumb, and yeah, it's still dumb. It's like if you stay in a world that's nothing but an echo chamber of people that say the exact same thing as you, you are not learning anything. Which is also kind of the point that I should make. If we had not engaged with these people, the trolls if you like, or the people that were actually genuinely concerned, I don't think I would have any idea what the quote other side is actually thinking. So, was it a good thing? You bet. Absolutely. Would I do it again? You better believe it. I absolutely would. Do I have any regrets whatsoever about the wording of the sign? Absolutely not. I think if you're into wordplay, that sign is hilarious. It's hilarious. But if you believe in Jesus, some of the people bothered. But we actually had preachers coming up to us and telling us how amazingly thoughtful that it was, because they actually believe in exactly what it said, that Jesus isn't a dick. He would not have any problem with this stuff. He would go around and, wash homeless people's feet. And good on him.
I couldn't have said it better myself. What I love most about this story isn't just that a father supported his daughter unconditionally, or that together they stood up for their beliefs. It's actually that Billy diffused such hateful, violent language simply by engaging with people and repeating their words back to them. Counter speech is incredibly powerful, even in a world where everyone has a megaphone. In fact, I'd argue it's probably even more powerful because more and more people will get to see it. It really makes you think about the things we say or type without a moment's thought. And when you hear it coming from someone else's mouth, it makes all but the most irrational of us think about it again. Now, thanks again for listening, everyone, and thank you for joining in on the conversation over at upvoted.reddit.com. I have a feeling there is going to be a lot of discussion about this week's episode. We want to keep hearing it. Keep letting us know what you think about the show, not only just individual episodes, but just all of Upvoted in general. We are cruising on our way to, I can't believe this, 500,000 downloads. Wow, thank you. It's been so great getting all of your feedback and building this with you. We really want to make Upvoted as amazing as the Reddit community that it serves. And I want to thank Unbabble for providing some awesome transcripts in both English and Spanish for our past episodes. You can find those under the relevant links for each episode, as well as in the wiki over at upvoted.reddit.com. Now, I'm sure this episode will spark some interesting discussion, and I, for one, can't wait to see it. So you know who else will be reading? Your number one fan.
I want to thank Reddit. I love you guys. It's been really fun being with you guys on Reddit.
We love you as well, Tuesday and Billy. Finally, special thanks to Randy Ryan of Hamster Ball Studios, who recorded Billy and Tuesday for us. Thank you, Ryan. And one last reminder, you can still subscribe to Upvoted on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, or Overcast, so get on it already. Seriously, why haven't you yet? Let's do this again next week on Upvoted by Reddit.